to me and Malachi's channel. Okay, so this is my first YouTube video. I have been contemplating for so long how to do this because there's so much to talk about with autism, and I want to remain relatable. So let's get into it. Before we start, please comment, like, and subscribe. And during this first video, what I'm going to be talking about is just getting to know me and Malachi. And I'm going to do a 11-question Q&A about autism, my story, Malachi's story. And at the end of this video, I will be posting some resources and talking about some resources that has gotten us through our journey with autism. So let's get into it. Okay, so the first question is, what is autism? So for this first question, I feel like there's not one specific definition. Like, it's so many different ways to define autism. I would define autism as a social disorder or a developmental delay, which makes an individual have difficulties interacting with other people, learning like everybody else does, and they just see the world in a different way. Also, I want to throw in there, autism consists of like sensory processing disorder sometimes, or sensory issues. And what I mean by sensory issues is most people with autism are sensitive to taste, touch, sound, light, and things of that nature. So yeah, it's not really one way, in my opinion, to define autism. Of course, if you want the Google definition, you can get on Google and see what they have on there. And I'm assuming that if you're on my channel or you found us from TikTok or another one of my social media platforms, that you kind of have an idea of what autism is, or you know somebody potentially that is autistic. So yes, that's my definition. Question number 2. What are some of the traits and signs of autism? So as some of y'all may or may not know, autism is a broad spectrum. Like, there's no one type of trait for autism, and just because you do have certain traits of autism doesn't mean that you're a kid or you are autistic. But some of the traits of autism that my son has was, like I said, sensory processing disorder. So he had difficulties eating certain foods. He stims, and if you don't know what stimming is, it's just something that autistic individuals do or neurodiverse people do to help regulate their emotions or thoughts. And stimming can be arm flapping, spinning in circles, humming, making noises, eye stimming when they look side to side. My son, one of the biggest things that he does when he stims is he'll bite on stuff. Like, he always got to have something in his mouth. So what I do is I give him a chewy necklace, which can be found on Amazon. I'll post it in my storefront, Autism's Essential storefront that I made. And I put the necklace on him because he'll chew up his shirt. He'll chew up drywall. I'm talking about anything in his mouth. Like, he done chewed up our whole blinds. Ate the whole set of blinds. Like, and I know that sounds bizarre, but he just got to chew on some shit, and he will really ruin a lot of shit. Like, we run through so many chargers because for some reason he wants to chew up my chargers. Like, boy, no. So, yeah, so stimming, sensory issues. In the beginning, my son did not answer to his name when I call his name. Lack of eye contact, lack of engagement. What else? Difficulty sleeping. So my son, he still struggles with that to this day. It's gotten a lot better. But those are just some of the traits of autism. And the biggest trait that most people that give people a red flag, or, just to raise an eyebrow about, like, okay, something is going on here, is speech delay. So my son is nonverbal / pre-verbal. I say pre-verbal because he does say some words like mama, eat, cup, Elmo, like shit. He gives a fuck things that he cares about. So he does say a few words, so I consider him pre-verbal, which also means I feel like he'll talk on his own time. But yeah, those are some of the traits of autism. Feel free, like I always say, to check out my TikTok account. I have a whole video about some of the traits of autism if you scroll down. And yeah, so let's get into question number 3. What age did you notice the signs of autism, and what is my story? Our story. Okay, so I can honestly say I didn't start noticing signs of Malachi being autistic until he was about 10 months. But even when I noticed the signs, I still wasn't aware that it was possibly him being autistic. So from age newborn all the way until like 10 months old, I didn't really notice anything until like a little bit after him being 10 months old. I feel so bad because I used to post on Instagram when my son was like almost 11 months, like, y'all, I don't think my son like me. Like, why is he not talking? Why don't he like me holding him or touching him? Because like we talked about, sensory disorder or sensory issues, some people with autism don't like to be touched. My son never let me touch him. He didn't really let me pick him up and kiss him. He's gotten so much better now. But that was one of the signs. And he was not talking like other kids. So I was pregnant with a girl from my hometown, and I was pregnant with my older sister. Our kids are back to back to back. And I would see their kids around that time starting to say certain stuff, starting to do certain stuff that Malachi wasn't doing in terms of speaking. And I remember, like I said, I used to post on Instagram, like, why he ain't talking? Like, why, like, you know, and if you know me, I play all day, so it still wasn't clicking to me that, you know, there was a delay. So I would say around 10 months, because prior to 10 months, it's kind of like he digressed, like went backwards. He used to eat everything. He used to say dad. He said dad. He was like, I have videos of him mocking us. And once he hit like the 10-month mark, he kind of just went backwards on speaking. He was still eating everything at 10 months. He didn't stop completely eating everything that he used to eat until he was like 1 year old, going on 2. But anyway, so around 10 months old, that's when I first noticed the signs. And then going on to my story, or our journey story, whatever you want to call it, his first birthday, it was his first birthday, and it was during COVID in 2020. So his dad kept going outside to smoke. And looking back, to take a smoke break, looking back, it was a coping mechanism, because during his birthday party, it was like 4 toddlers or whatever. And they was beating my baby up. Like, y'all, they was really beating him up. My nephew, who was the same age as him, he was like bullying my baby, not on purpose, but he just wasn't liking none of it. He was crying. He did not want to play. He was trying to get away. He was trying to isolate himself, and he always used to isolate himself around that time. So I'm like, okay, whatever. But the gag is, his dad had already noticed. So right after his birthday party, his dad had came to my attention. He's the one who actually noticed that he was autistic. Lord knows that if he never said anything, I don't even know how that would have went. But it was a little bit after his birthday party. He had came to me, and he showed me a video on YouTube, and it was a video of 2 babies. It was an autistic baby who was about like 2 or 3, and then there was a typical baby. In the first clip, the neurotypical baby was engaging with an adult. They were playing with like toy cars, and he was like mocking the adult. He was engaging, like actually doing imaginative play and just, you know, playing like a typical toddler. So then the second clip was the autistic baby or whatever, and he was more interested in like spinning the wheel of the car. He didn't engage with the adult. He didn't really like engage and play like your typical child would or whatever. So he didn't really engage and play like your typical child would. He was more interested in the toy than he was playing. it just was a big difference. So he showed me the video and I'm like, okay, what you showing me that for? Like, I'm like, you think Malachi autistic? He was like, I've been noticed, I just didn't know how to tell you. So I'm like, no, like I instantly get mad. And then I instantly break down like, damn, like you right. Like, what did I do wrong? Like, I didn't get him all his shots. He was eating a lot of healthy stuff, organic stuff. Like, I did everything right. I didn't take no Tylenol during my pregnancy. I didn't do none of the stuff that they, you know, that I could have possibly blamed myself for. So I was devastated. Now, mind you, fast forward to my birthday. It was my 25th birthday in 2020 or whatever. So we get to my birthday party, and after his dad telling me, like, you know, Malachi could potentially be autistic, I just felt ashamed. I felt a bit embarrassed. Like, at my birthday party, I did not want to hold my son. I didn't want nothing to do with him. I just kept staring at him. I just wanted it to go away. Like, it wasn't like I wanted to harm me or myself or my son or none of that. It was just like, I don't want to deal with him. Like, I instantly had that feeling for like the whole day. I just wanted it to go away. I couldn't even really enjoy myself. Like, I was drunk as hell though. I think I was really, really drunk for that reason. Not only just because it was my birthday, but I was just trying to mask, you know, the feeling. So my sister had my son my whole birthday party or whatever for hours. And I needed to process that. I needed to really figure out like, okay, what am I about to do? How is this about to go? I'm devastated. And that's how I was feeling for the time being. So I ended up saying, you know, fuck it. If you know me, you know I'm on it. A problem come, I'll grieve about it, I'll cry about it, but then I pick myself up like, okay, it's time to get to work. So me, his dad, and my sister started researching stuff and going on YouTube. We couldn't really find anything. Everything we was finding on YouTube was devastating as hell. Like, it's over, you know. It was like a lot. It wasn't nobody, first of all, that was black that really looked like us or had the same cultural preferences or cultural living. It was just not relatable. And the stuff that I did see was just like, it's over. Like, in so many words, this is how your son will be. He'll never talk. Blah, 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 blah. And I was just like, fuck that. Like, so we started researching. The first thing that I did was join a Facebook group called Black Autism Moms that saved my life, saved me and Malachi's life. What I mean by save our life is so many resources in there, so many questions that I had. I'm talking about down to anything that you needed to know. I joined that group. My sister was researching, and he was going to her daycare at the time, and we got our ass finessed trying to research. I got my ass finessed trying to research and just find any resources that I could get for my son. It was a lady, a white lady, and she has an ad on Facebook, and parents, caregivers, dads, whoever, if y'all watching this, do not buy that shit. It's not okay, like, to be profiting off of grieving families who are looking for help and resources. I can't think of that lady name, but basically it was like an intense autism curing program, and it'll work in 3 months. Pay her $500. I didn't know no better. Paid the lady $500. The fucking it's not funny, but looking back, it is kind of funny. I paid the lady $500, and I'm like, it gets to the 3rd month. I'm like, this little boy still ain't talking. What the fuck? I need an extension. What we about to do? And I get to emailing her like, my baby still ain't talking. This autism still here. I'm gonna need you to extend this. She extended for another 20 days. Still on the same shit. So anyway, that was just one of the things that we did that I tried to do to contribute towards, you know, making, you know, helping the quality of his life. So after that, me and his dad ended up going to his primary physician, and we found a great doctor in my hometown, and she wrote a referral for shout out to Dr. Parks. She is so sweet. And shout out to Robin too, because she put me in the nurse Robin. She put me on to her doctor. She worked at the doctor's office at the time. So she wrote a referral for a speech and a hearing test, because at the time, I told y'all my son was only like, by that time, 15 months. And most places, in order to get a diagnosis, they say that your kid has to be like 19 months or after 2 years old. So they do the speech test, they do the hearing test. He passes the hearing test and he fails the speech test. And in the hearing test, they did like put some machines on his ear just to make sure that he was actually hearing us when we're talking to him, because he didn't answer his name. And then the speech test, they did like 15 words they wanted him to repeat, the engagement, and he didn't say no words. Like, he was babbling, and the lady was let me not even say gaslighting. She was trying to make a positive situation out of it. She's like, you hear him? He said this, he said that. And I'm like, okay. And I'm looking at his dad. If you know his daddy, his dad he looking like, this lady is tweaking. My son is not. We still need to go through with the process, because she's telling us like, just give it time, he'll be fine. Like, I don't see anything to worry about. And you know me, I want to believe it, so I'm like, okay, cool. So after that, they ended up just putting him in therapy for like 30 minutes a week. And I'm like, damn, that's all? Like, what am I supposed to do in the meantime? So during that time, what I was doing was researching, and I had found out that red dyes, you know, kind of, red 40 is not good for development with kids. So I took red 40 out his diet, took gluten out his diet, and my sister had found a company called Little Spoons that I really like. And they would send like 25 meals to our house that was like gluten-free, dye-free. Some of them was vegan, and he used to be tearing them damn plates up. So I'm like, okay, this is helping. This is contributing towards, you know, behaviors, because at the time he was starting to like fall out, and his sleeping pattern wasn't good and stuff like that. So while I'm waiting on the diagnosis, those are just some of the things that I did. And what else? So time goes forward, and it's time for him to get an autism diagnosis. So fast forward, that was the end of 2020. So fast forward to about April of 2021, he ended up going to get a diagnosis, and they diagnosed him with level 3 autism. And I went to a facility called Hope Bridge in Ohio, and certain states has a Hope Bridge facility, which is an ABA therapy facility. And if you don't know what ABA therapy is, it's basically a applied behavior, I think, analysis. Don't quote me on abbreviation, but it's basically what I call it is autism school or autism therapy. And what they do is they diagnose your child, then give you the recommended hours based on their diagnosis. And my son was recommended for 35 to 40 hours a week. And I can honestly say ABA therapy is life-changing. Like, I know it has a lot of bad reputations. Well, it used to have a bad reputation, because before we really knew what autism was, or, you know, society knew what autism was, they used to try to cure autism or change your child. And that's just not something that, you know, is cool. That's not cool to change a child or try to cure autism. There's no cure for autism. What you can do is improve the quality of your child's life. But to actually cure autism, there's no cure. So it has a bad rep, because back in the 80s, in the 90s, people used to lock their children in a basement or send them to a mental facility where they were basically abused. And times have changed, and they've done research, and they, you know, spread awareness, which is why you're here now on my channel, TikTok and therapies, and they just revamped ABA therapy. So now what ABA therapy does is meets a child or individual where they are, and they just implement play in therapy. So they don't try to change them. They don't try to stop them from stemming. They don't try to cure autism. They just meet them where they are to help them, you know, make the quality of their life better. And it has helped my son so much. Like, he's 4 years old. I remember it was times when he was 1 and 2. I'm like, damn, I think this is it. Like, I think this is the end of, you know, this is just what it's going to be for the next, I can't even say 18 years, for the rest of our life. And that's not true. Like, ABA therapy has done him wonders. He used to engage in SIB, which is head banging. He used to punch himself, all type of stuff. And he no longer does that because of ABA therapy. And his sleep schedule has gotten so much better. So that's pretty much, you know, the perks of ABA therapy. And that's pretty much our story as far as like autism and what we started how we started noticing the signs and the traits of autism, our story. So long story short, we noticed when he was about, I'll say after 1 year old, immediately got on it, immediately started researching. And his dad was the one to notice. I don't think I would ever notice because I never had a kid. He never had a kid either. But it's like clearly he was, you know, God touched him enough to let him know like, hey, y'all gotta get on y'all shit. So that's that. Question number, this is the second part of question number 3. How did I feel after I found out, after the diagnosis? After Malachi's diagnosis, it gave me closure as to like, this is what, it made me more accepting. So it gave me closure and it just made me feel like, okay, this is what it is. This is what we need to do. I embrace autism and I know it's not going to be easy. We're going to have our ups, our downs, but I'm on board with whatever we need to do. Now, as far as his dad, the day he got diagnosed, he probably going to kill me for sharing this. Y'all know black men don't express their feelings. He was devastated. Like, he broke down really bad. And if you know him, like I said, he is a tough ass. Like, he, for one, is a black man from Chicago. He don't express himself, but that's the only time I've ever seen that man really cry. Like, it's really hard for men to accept that, you know, because you have so many expectations with your kid. Oh, I can't wait for me and my son to do this, to do this, to do that. And for that all to be changed, and I don't want to say taken away because this is, you know, but for all your expectations to be taken away or changed, it just, you know, that's something to grieve about. Like, that's your kid. And then you are a man at that, like your firstborn, you know. So it was really hard for him, but he's gotten a lot better. Him and Malachi got their own bond, just like we have our own bond. So I already went through that. I told y'all I went through a depression for real. Like, before his diagnosis, I cut off my hair because I feel like my hair was holding so much trauma. I had gained like 40, 45 pounds. I was just spazzing on people. I was ready to be bitch up. It was a lot. Like, it was a lot. And I feel like a lot of that stemmed from autism, but a lot of it was because people were just weird as hell too. It was just a lot at the same time. So I got a lot better with that. But yeah, that's pretty much how we felt when we found out. What do you advise parents to do while waiting for a diagnosis? This is kind of like what I already said. If you are watching this and you are a parent who is waiting for a diagnosis or, you know, waiting for therapies, what I advise you to do is, for real, pour into yourself. Like, and I know that sounds crazy and it's hard because you have to work. You know, you're still trying to figure out what the hell is autism, how's this gonna go. You get overwhelmed, you have the feeling of being ashamed. But pour into yourself, like, get out that bed. Make time for you with your kid. Get them on a schedule. I know it's hard, and you be tired, especially if you are. I really applaud parents who have more than one child and you are raising an autistic kid. Like, I take my hats off to y'all. I think y'all are really superheroes. Y'all are doing your thing because it's not easy. But what I would advise you to do is pour into yourself. Like, if you're not okay, I wish somebody would have told me this. If I'm not okay, my kid is not okay. So you can't do that. You have to pour into yourself. Find out what your child's triggers are. If they're triggered by light, sound, whatever, find out what triggers them and try to work around it. So with my kid, he's triggered by the sound of water. We had to start putting him in the shower because it was quicker, it was easier, and I played music while he got in the shower. I would just say also build a relationship with God because that really is helpful. You're gonna need it. You're gonna really need it. I'm telling you, like, some days you're gonna be like, man, what? But as far as your child, just get them on a schedule, find out their triggers. Therapies. Put them in every therapy you could possibly think of. If they're having trouble eating, put them in food therapy. If they like music, put them in music therapy. Start researching different funding. And I will talk about resources and funding and stuff at the end of this video, but put them in any therapy you can think of that's Medicaid funded, and try to get everything free. You know what I'm saying? Like, spend the least amount of money that you can, because they already, with them being a child, most states offer Medicaid and stuff. So yeah, some of the things that I was using that helped me with them sleeping, because I know that's the biggest problem with most of our kids, is tart cherry juice. That works wonders. My son still calms him down. Take them snacks away. Try to find alternatives. I know they can be picky eaters, or reduce the amount of red dye and stuff in their diet. I'm not big on like, oh, change your diet is gonna cure autism. No. And I'm not a detox mom either. If y'all wondering, if you're here to wonder if I'm a detox mom, I'm not getting into that. I said I have an open mind to it this year in certain things, but as far as me believing that the detox is good and it's good for autism, no. If I detox my baby, best believe I'm gonna detox me first. Like, I'm not gonna put my kid in a, anyway, it's just my preference. So I would say tart cherry juice, weighted blankets, lullabies, soothing sounds, anything that you can possibly do to contribute while you're waiting on a diagnosis. But yeah, that's what I would do. What was the first year like, and what was it hard? Was it hard? So, like I said, the first year was us just trying to figure some things out. I'm gonna tell y'all what year was hard. Them terrible twos, 2021, my son played in my face every day. Like, he literally was giving me hell. Like, he was literally driving me nuts. Like, he was having SIB, which is banging his head, punching himself so bad. He was doing that so bad. He was like not going to sleep. I remember the worst experience was when I still try to like do typical things. I have a photographer come to the house and we gonna take pictures. When I say he cut up. He was so mean and overstimulated and just mad. I was like, never again. I still tried to do Christmas. Back then, he really didn't care. He's gotten better now, but he really didn't care. With engagement, he's gotten better. It was so hard when he was 2 years old. That's not an age I wish on nobody. But yeah, it was really hard. It got better once he got an ABA therapy. ABA therapy really helped when he turned 2 years old. It changed our life for the better. So, how does your child sleep at night, and what does he eat? So now that he's 4 years old, been in therapy for 3 years, his sleep schedule is much better. But that's because he's in ABA therapy from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. every single day, like a full school age hours. So by the time he comes home, he gets on his iPad, chill, be tired, wear himself out, go to bed, and it really does help. Some nights, like I said, he'll get up real early in the middle of the night, or he'll just be on his little time when he's ready to climb at the top of his bed, jump off, climb the shelves in the closet, do all type of crazy shit. And what does he eat? He eats like 5 foods. He's a carb dude. He likes carbs. So he'll eat peanut butter and jelly daily. Chicken nuggets, they have to be Bear chicken nuggets. The company called Bear. He loves Wendy's. Give him a 10-piece from Wendy's. That's his favorite meal. 10-piece nugget from Wendy's. Turkey bacon. All type of french fries. He recently tried pizza. He likes pizza. He on and off with it when he's in the mood. But most times he'll just grab stuff off my plate, try it. Either he like it, he don't. But yeah, he eats about a good 5-6 foods. And drinking, I used to be able to get him to drink smoothies, which was a blessing, but now he won't drink smoothies. He'll drink cold water though, so that's great, because he did not used to drink water at all. And then he'll drink anything else, like really anything, honestly. How do you cope with autism or being overwhelmed? So the way that I cope with autism, I can honestly say, talking to people on live on TikTok. Like, I love my autism community on TikTok. We be on there chatting. I try to go live every night around 6 or 7 Central Time. And we be on there really just talking. Talking about things in general has always made me feel better. Talking about autism to people who can relate or care, of course, but that's one way. I used to go out a lot. Like, I don't know if that was like coping though, or it might have been suppressing it, like when I do get overwhelmed. But I know going out with my friends or being out really helps. I used to work out. Like, I started working out 2020, and I be on and off on my workout journey. Creating content is a good coping mechanism for me. Really, I started reading books a couple months ago. That really helped. Just pick up a new hobby, and really just remembering for me that we tend to forget that life is short, and we tend to look at life in a tunnel vision type of monolithic way. It's about the spirit and how you look at life and how you digest things. And you know, we don't have to be just confined to being a mama. We don't have to be confined to just working that job. We don't have to be confined to just, you know what I'm saying, one thing. Like, remember, life is short, and at the end of the day, you may have to take care of a kid, but you also have to remember that your happiness and your well-being matters as well. Like, do something that you always wanted to do. Go do some new shit, try some new shit, travel. Like, I know funds be tight for us because our lives is different from other people. They'll never get it. Like I say, autism is an experience, it's not an explanation. So I get all of those things, but stop being so confined to just one way. There's multiple ways to live your life, and I think that's so important when coping with autism or dealing with anything in life. Like, get out there, like, live your life, live life. My mood right now is just living life. I pray, duh. That's the biggest way. Pray. And my favorite thing to watch when I'm overwhelmed, Sarah Jakes Roberts. Sarah Jakes has literally pulled me out of bed. Like, I instantly can be feeling the worst of the worst, lowest of the lowest, discouraged, because I get discouraged very easily. I turn her on YouTube instantly. She takes all of that anxiety, depression, and all of those things away. Like, just her words. So I pray and I have a relationship with God. I don't play about God in anything that I do. I always put God first, especially when I'm at my lowest. So yeah. What is your support system like, and do you get breaks? So Malachi has a good support system. So I'm from Ohio. His dad is from Chicago, and we met in Nashville. So we don't have no family in Nashville, only our college friends and like other people that we knew from back home that moved here. So our support system in Nashville is very limited. We don't really get no breaks down here unless we watch him one at a time. We don't get no kick it time or nothing like that. We don't get a break really in Nashville. As far as his family and my family, we have a good support system, but guess what? We have to, I feel like with anything, we have to let them know at least 2 weeks ahead of time, like, hey, we need a break. We finna drop Malachi off down there, whether it's in Illinois or Ohio, and y'all gonna have to keep him for like 4 days. So they usually keep him from anywhere from 4 days up to 7 days, but in advance while we're down here. And that's like every two or 3 months, really. As long as we all on the same page, we can really plan a break whenever, as long as everybody is free and capable. So I would say our support system back home is like a 10 out of 10. I will say that. And if we need anything, we can call them. But as far as Nashville, we need to build our community. I was just saying how I wanted to find a nanny down here and actually start linking up with autism moms and hitting up his therapist, because we be needing breaks. We, like I said, have to live life. He got his life, I have mine. So, yeah. Potty training. Is my son potty training? No, he is not. He's not. So, I'll be trying, but I'll be tired. Y'all gotta think, like, whenever I do start consistently potty training Malachi, yes, he's 4 years old. Yes, he's still in pull-ups. Yes, I'm tired of buying them. Yes, I'm tired of changing them. Yes. But I can honestly say I feel like what you put in with your kid is what you get out. And I have not been putting in what I need to with him because I have so many other things that I'm trying to do at once. And so does his dad. And also, it's not no rule book to this or no guidebook to this. We don't know what the hell we're doing. He's not like other children. So we have to get on board with his therapist. We got to get on board with each other. And when we really like put in that work for it, I'm definitely going to use the method that they taught us, which was put him on a potty every 30 minutes. See what I'm saying? Every 30 minutes, who's finna be doing that when they not ready? We got to be locked in with potty training. So right now, he's not potty trained. And we're working on it. We're going to work on it when I get ready. So autism is delayed, not denied. They're going to do it, but it's on their own timing when they want to and when we're ready to put in that work because it takes a village. So yes, still working on potty training. What are some resources that you can give to the autism community, parents, caregivers, whatever? This is my favorite question that I'm about to answer for y'all. So I'm going to keep it brief because we're going to have so many more videos that we're going to have on YouTube talking about all of these things. But the main resources that I can offer y'all is to, one, join support groups. If you're a black mom, join Black Autism Moms on Facebook. If you're not a black mom, because they only accept requests from women of color or black moms. Let me not say women of color, black women. There's a group on Facebook called Autism Moms or Autism Parents. Facebook groups are always very helpful. We have a group called Official Autism Moms Resource Group on GroupMe, and there is like 40 of us in there, and we just drop all type of resources from free car seats to how to get a cubby bed for your autistic child, free pull-ups, respite care, SSI. We talk about all of that in there. So download GroupMe, type in Autism Moms Official Resource Group, and it is a yellow icon. I'll try to post the links to everything in this video description. But if you are still looking for resources, the first place that you can go for a new car seat is called newmotion.com. And you can also look up other websites that offer Medicaid financed car seats. But New Motion, which is NUMotion.com, they offer Medicaid covered car seats. Another one is pull-ups. If your kid is 3 years old or over, they qualify for free pull-ups through Medicaid. And the website that I am familiar with is called AeroFlow, AeroFlow.com. And they will give you free pull-ups, a subscription, and they send more than enough. They also will give you wipes, padding for the bed, like bed pads, mask, I think other hygiene stuff, gloves, all type of things that you'll need for your kid or yourself as a caregiver. SSI, feel free to ask any type of questions about how to go about applying for SSI after your child has an official diagnosis. What I did was went to ssa.gov, and then I went to the link that says apply for SSI, and then it'll ask you like, is it for you or your child, and you go on from there and so on. They're going to ask you questions, and it is income based. I know currently in the United States, the most you can receive for SSI monthly is $946. And for my parents who was ashamed and embarrassed of getting SSI, y'all can wrap that shit up because they used to be me. Baby, send me them funds because we need them. I'm not finna keep buying $14 bags of chicken nuggets on my own because I can go get my nails done or my lashes done or put that towards me. So yes, send me that money. Send them funds through. Respite care. So a lot of states offer respite care. And what respite care is basically a caregiver that helps you take care of your child, or you can actually get paid to be a respite care provider for your kids. So you'll basically be paid for something you do on a day-to-day basis. I know here in Tennessee, they offer a waiver. And the waiver will give you money to pay somebody, And it's not that much at all, but you can also sign up to become a respite care provider through your state and work for a facility, and then the facility will pay you to take care of your kid. But I know it's like certain requirements for it. Don't quote me because I haven't done it yet. But look into respite care providing, Facebook groups, support groups. So that completes the end of our Q&A with my first video on me and Malachi's channel. And before I go, I just wanted to leave some finishing remarks and say that I'm so excited about this journey and having, you know, supporters on YouTube. I'm definitely looking forward to helping all the parents, caregivers, dads, moms, whoever, families, help better the quality of your lives, our lives. And I just want to let y'all know to remember that you are not alone. It's hundreds of thousands of other people who are going through the same thing. And if you are a parent that's waiting on your diagnosis, just remember that it gets easier, and to remain, you know, patient, and remember not to compare your kid to other children. Comparison is the thief of joy, and autism is not denied, it's delayed. So it's a comma, not a period. And when you go out in public, I know that's a big thing that I talk about a lot with moms, and how we have to deal with the real world and people staring, or people coming up to your kid and speaking to your kid, and you know that they don't really talk back. That is very annoying. But I will say that it happens to me all the time, and I used to get irritated or just try to avoid them. But now I just be like, say hi and back, Malachi. He won't say nothing. I keep it pushing. I personally don't think that adults should come and talk to a kid first. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, say hi to me first, then just say hi to my kid, keep it pushing. Also, remember to celebrate every accomplishment that your kid has, every milestone, big, small. I don't care if little John up the street been saying his ABCs, 1, 2, 3s and talking. We not worried about John and them. We worried about our kid, and when our kid talks and does all these things on their own time. And so we don't care about none of that. Focus on your kid. Don't compare them. Remember that you're not alone. And remember, I don't like a lot of stuff that people do too. Y'all it's not just you. You're not crazy. I don't like when people ask, is he talking yet? I don't like when people say he'll grow out of autism. I don't like a lot of things. And we'll get into that in later videos. My next video will be about the icks of autism and a day in the life with me and Malachi. So we're going to talk some more. But thank y'all so much for watching. I really hope that I reached somebody's home today or helped them in some way, whether it was just listening to me as a friend, as a mom, as whatever. I really hope that I, you know, contributed to y'all in some type of way or motivated y'all. So thank you. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe.